The gunshot echoed through the air. Game over, or so everyone thought, right? But let me ask you this. Do you really know who won? Because Karen sure as hell believed she'd just saved the whole neighborhood from some terrorist threat, just because she saw me out back with a man she didn't recognize, unpacking some gear in my overgrown yard. That, in her twisted logic, was enough for her to call 911, lie through her teeth, and then, before anybody knew what was what, she'd pulled the trigger. What Karen didn't realize, the man she shot was carrying secrets no one was ever supposed to see, and that inside my cabin. There was someone with enough authority to spin her emergency into a national security nightmare. There are secrets you guard at any cost, but some, if they ever get out, could bury whole systems. Karen, she picked the absolute worst target for her hero act. But you want to know how it got this crazy? Let me back up a sec. Where are you watching from, by the way? Drop it in the comments. Because you'll want to weigh in on this mess. 6 months back, I, Jack Reynolds, bought this battered old cabin in Pine Valley Estates, 1,200 square feet of peace, or so I thought. After years as a federal emergency coordinator, bouncing between the FBI, FEMA, and every small-town sheriff's office you could imagine, I'd had it with politics and burnout. I traded crisis management for fixing leaky faucets and pretending my security clearance never existed. Pine Valley seemed the place for new starts, neighbors waving, quiet streets. People minding their business. Except for Karen Mitchell, HOA queen, self-declared neighborhood watch, ruler of every mailbox and blade of grass. You know the type, late 50s, always overdressed. Smile never reaching her eyes. Voice that goes sugary right before she ruins your week. She watched me like a hawk from day one. That Tuesday, I was rigging motion sensors in my yard. Nothing fancy, when Marcus Cole pulled up. Marcus and I went way back. Complicated history I can't get into, but I trusted him with my life. He's a cybersecurity analyst, the kind of guy who makes billion-dollar CEOs lose sleep. For the last 6 months, Marcus was under federal witness protection, building a case against a syndicate so nasty, I only knew headlines, not details. His testimony could put monsters away for decades. Marcus looked rattled, constantly scanning, nervous as a cat. "Thanks for letting me set up here, Jack," he said, hauling out a duffel of electronics, encrypted comms, surveillance detectors, even a portable signal jammer. From the outside, yeah, we probably looked like we were prepping for a heist, not home improvement. To Karen, watching through her blinds, it might as well have been a military coup. 20 minutes in, she materialized at my fence, sickly sweet. "Jack, can I ask what you and your friend are doing with all that equipment?" I kept it simple. Old friend, home security upgrade. But Karen's mind was off and running. She zeroed in on Marcus' badge and started in on military-grade gear, asking if my guest was even authorized. Marcus tensed, his world. One nosy neighbor can mean the difference between life and death. Trying to defuse her, I explained everything was above board. She didn't care. "I'm calling the HOA, then the police if they can't handle it. There are procedures." As she stormed off, Marcus leaned in, whispering that he was being tracked. His cover might be blown. If the cops got involved, months of work would unravel. Sure enough, Karen was pacing her living room, phone glued to her ear, probably spinning a tale of terrorists plotting to blow up Starbucks. 20 minutes later, half the Pine Valley PD rolled up, lights blazing. The lead officer, tired and wary, knocked. "Sir, we received a report of suspicious activity, potential explosives. Please step outside." I raised my hands, calm as possible. Marcus followed, trying to look like any other guest. Karen, now in her official HOA suit, crossed the street, clipboard in hand, launching into a wild story about military equipment and dangerous men. The lead cop, to his credit, tried to keep her out of it, but she wouldn't let go. That's when Marcus did the unthinkable. He handed over his federal contractor ID and explained, in a low voice, that he was under witness protection, prepping to testify in a federal case. The officer's whole vibe changed. He started verifying credentials. Right then, another squad car rolled up, Detective Sarah Brooks, an old friend from my federal days, sharp as they come. She took one look, put together the scene, and heard me out as Karen performed her one-woman show. When Sarah confirmed Marcus' status, she warned Karen that interfering with a witness was a federal crime. Most people would have backed off, Not Karen. She doubled down. I know suspicious behavior, and I have a right to protect my neighborhood, and stormed home, vowing to handle things herself. Sarah told me to keep an eye on her. Marcus started packing. His cover was shot. As he left with a police escort, I thought, maybe, this was done. I was wrong. Half an hour later, Karen's door slammed. She stormed out with a chrome .38, holding it like she knew what she was doing. I'm protecting my community myself, she screamed. I called Sarah. She raced back, but Karen had stationed herself on her lawn, eyes wild. Sarah tried to talk her down, hands visible, calm voice. Just then, Marcus realized he'd left a secure device in my yard. Against every protocol, he circled back to retrieve it. Karen saw him and lost it. See, he's back to finish the job. She raised the gun, hands shaking, screaming about terrorists. Marcus tried to back away, explaining he'd forgotten something, but Karen wasn't hearing it. She fired. The bullet caught him in the leg, dropped him right there. Blood spreading on the driveway. Sarah drew down, called an ambulance. Karen just stood, repeating, he was threatening me. I had to protect myself. Sirens wailed closer. I pressed on Marcus's wound, trying to keep him conscious, as his sleeve rolled up, revealing a crescent-shaped scar. That's when Karen's face went ghost white. She gasped, dropped the gun, backing away. Paramedics arrived, prepped Marcus for transport, realized his blood type was rare, O negative. Suddenly, Karen was desperate. Test my blood. I want to donate. Paramedics stared at her like she'd lost it. But the test showed not just a match, perfect genetic compatibility. The attending doctor, old-timer who'd seen it all, quietly pulled me aside. She's not just a compatible donor. She's likely his mother. Karen, sitting in shock, admitted, 25 years ago. She left a baby boy at the hospital, marked by a crescent-shaped birthmark. But the truth was darker. She'd been selling babies for profit. Marcus was to be sold, but when the deal fell through, she dumped him and never looked back. The scar? From the hospital ID bracelet. While Marcus recovered and Karen awaited charges, I started digging. Turns out, Karen had been quietly terrorizing the neighborhood for years. Pet poisonings, mysterious illnesses, even a gas leak that almost killed a family, all traced back to her. A lowlife named Tommy Scar, Martinez confessed Karen hired him for break-ins, intimidation, sending threats. She'd turned the HOA into her own kingdom of fear. But she wasn't done. Her high-priced lawyer got her out on bail. At a press conference, she reinvented herself as a heartbroken mother, claiming I'd kidnapped Marcus, spun up deepfakes and AI voice messages to paint me as a federal criminal. The town split. Some sided with her. Others remembered her harassment. Suddenly, federal investigators opened a probe against me. The system was tilting her way, and Sarah was under pressure to back off. Then Marcus, limping but determined, went public. On TV, he told the truth. That woman is not my mother. She sold me, abandoned me, and shot me. She doesn't get to claim me now. That, plus Dr. Hayes' testimony and Tommy's confession, tipped the scale. Federal agents moved in. Turns out, Karen wasn't just a local menace. She was the regional broker for a child trafficking ring spanning 4 states. She got arrested during an HOA meeting, tried to destroy insurance files, but the feds had already swapped out the real evidence. The standoff played out on live TV, Marcus negotiating with her through the door. She claimed the network forced her. Marcus called her out. You sold me. You threw me away. You're not my mother. The world watched as she broke down, then surrendered. The trial was massive. Evidence of trafficking, poisonings, even secret burial sites. Karen was convicted on 32 counts, sentenced to life with no parole. Marcus started the Phoenix Rescue Foundation, helping missing kids and trafficking survivors. Pine Valley changed, HOA dissolved, community council founded, new safety protocols implemented. Karen died in prison, unmourned. The Marcus Cole Act became law, tightening protections against child trafficking. Looking back, Karen's worst crime wasn't just what she did to Marcus, or me, or Pine Valley. It was the way she poisoned trust, turned power into a weapon, and tried to rewrite reality. But survivors like Marcus proved evil doesn't get the last word. Justice happens when good people stand together and refuse to let a bully write the ending. So, what do you think? Where does justice begin and end? Drop your thoughts below. If stories like this give you hope that truth wins, hit like, subscribe, and let's keep telling the stories that matter. Stay sharp out there, especially if your neighbor thinks the HOA badge is a license to rule the world.